Welcome back to the channel. It is Thursday, which means it is race day. Flat race tonight in Nyokyo, 15 kilometers. Hopefully that will suit me to be able to stay in with the group. I guess we will find out. As usual, feeling a bit tired. It's the end, coming towards the end of a week. It's just natural. Not as tired as I'm going to feel in a few months though, that's for sure. So yeah, let's jump on. I've got a couple of minutes. I might get about a 5-10 minute warm up if I'm lucky. But yeah, let's see how this goes. We're in Nyokyo then for a lap of the Neon Flats. The clue is in the name. It is relatively flat. There's a couple of lumpy bits where I have to put out a bit of an effort to stay in with the group. As I do at the start here, I've slightly fallen off the back. And I want to make sure that I keep in with them. So I put out a bit of extra effort to make sure I latch onto the back. Quite a big D group tonight as well, which was quite good. Working together in there. It's moving around quite quickly at the moment because we're not quite hit the start point. So we can't quite see who's in there. So I can see me, Jay Williams, N. Deary, Latix is in there as well. It's not sorted itself out yet. OG is in there as well. We're just on our way around. I see P. Davies, I. Ferguson, just on our way around to start the first lap. And we're a little bit spread out here at the start. It takes a couple of minutes to sort of settle back in, but it was quite nice to have a slightly bigger D group than we've had in the last few races with our chance. Again, on a flat route, to try and stay away from the C's and the B's who will be chasing behind us very soon. 14.7 kilometres left to go. We've just started this across the start-finish line. Let's see if we can do it this week. Just coming up to 2k in, and we've settled now into a group, running quite well together, and the pace is quite quick, and is for a lot of this race. Again, I've had to just get out of the seat, make sure I'm putting down some power on this small 2%er. These are the ones that cost me sometimes when I fall off the back, being slightly heavier than everybody else, or quite a bit heavier. As we're riding together really, really well. The guys behind us, the Sea Cat is still 2 minutes back. A couple of other riders have left with the D group, have now dropped back to join the C's. Latix unfortunately had a problem at the start, so has fallen 11 seconds behind us. But in the whole, the D Cat is together and riding really well as a group. 5k in and 10 to go. I've just had to put a bit of a red effort just to keep up with another lumpy bit here, as I'm just starting to fall off the back again of the group. So I have to put the power down to make sure I coast back to them. But I'm feeling really good, actually. I'm feeling quite strong. I did a warm-up, as I mentioned, just literally 5 or 10 minutes before. I tried to get my legs going quickly and get my heart rate up a bit. And during that warm-up, I thought I'd really, really struggle in this race. But it's amazing how much you change when you get faced with a proper race in and amongst other people. You kind of step it up a little bit. And I felt really good getting out of the saddle here to keep up with the guys on this little lumpy bit again, up to 5%. But I didn't find any of those too bad. And I'm finding, I guess, doing the zone 2 workouts that I'm doing, that I'm managing to just settle back into a rhythm afterwards without needing quite as much recovery. I don't know whether that is because of the zone 2 workouts or just because I'm getting fitter and back to maybe where I was before, but definitely not finding it as difficult. Saying that, this isn't an easy race. It is difficult, but what I mean is I can sort of get back to that level of power a little bit easier. Still got the C's 1 minute 40 behind us, and I'm thinking we've got 9k to go now. Is this a chance to get a DCAT win? When we got pipped halfway on the half lap before last week's race, I'm hoping that we can get the D's over the line in this one. This was one of the areas that I thought might cause me a bit of a problem, these windy stone walkways that have got a very slight incline to them in places, but it's sort of a longer prolonged period, and I thought this could be the bit where I might lose the back of the group. So before getting to them, I knew that I'd have to put out a consistent, not necessarily high level power, but just a consistent higher than you would on a flat, just to stay with them. Managed to get to the top with the group here, actually out the front for a couple of seconds, as Stewie is putting out 4.8 watts. I don't know whether it's an attempted breakaway or just to get up the hill, but we do all come back together again. So tick for me for managing to stay in the group during that little incline. We're into the final 5K, and this is one of those moments where you think, I wish I could see the look on everyone else's faces and seeing how well they're doing and how difficult they're finding it, because I'm finding it quite tough at this point. Heart rate's quite high. It goes well over the 180 mark. But you can't tell on Zwift. You can't see their avatars to know how difficult it is. So I'm just hoping they're finding it as difficult as I am. We've now got a 1 minute 22 second lead still over the C group. So fingers crossed that we can get this across the line for a DCAT win. We've been up that little pebbly climb again. We're on the way down. I managed to stay in with the group again. I think that was the last point in my mind. I'm thinking, you know, I'm at the end of what I can push now. Have I got anything left? I managed to stay in with the group. And here we are. We've got 3.4 kilometres left to go. 1 minute 13 gap still back to the C's. That gap came down really, really quickly last week because the B's caught the C's and then they flew along. But I'm thinking at this point, will this finally be a DCAT win this week? I'm not thinking I am on the limit of what I can do here, and I'm thinking if this comes down to a sprint finish, I don't think I've got any hope. And actually, I'm thinking, well, it doesn't really matter. I can't push to go early anyway. So as much as I would love to push at the end and see where I can achieve, I'm thinking I'm probably just going to roll over the line somewhere behind this group at this point. But we've still got 2.9 kilometres to go. The rest of this, I believe, is pretty flat. There's a couple of extra lumpy bits, but yeah, nearly 20 minutes in, staying in with the group, 12.1 kilometres gone, and pushing really, really hard. Heading into the arcade for the final 800 metres, and I've lost the back of the group slightly here. Starting to really, really get to the edge of where I can go. Heart rate's up at 182. The pace has stepped up a bit. Obviously, we're coming towards the line. I'm doing what I can to try and not lose the back of the draft to see if I can somehow finish somewhere other than the back of this group. We've got T. Lee off the front here. S. Greaves is in there as well. Stewie, OG, I. Ferguson, M. Deary, P. Davies, and any of them could win this. My heart rate's up at 184. And we've got a minute, 55 second gap over the sea. So it's going to come down to this group and who goes early. T. Lee has gone early into the final 300 metres. Stewie's just behind. The rest of Stewie's up at 9 watts per kilo now. Can he get to the line? Can he catch T. Lee? Can any of the guys, have they got anything left? 150 metres to go. My heart rate's up at 188 at the moment. I haven't seen it that high for a long, long time. You can see me shaking my head. I try and sprint and I can't. T. Lee takes it. I think Stewie second, OG, then I. Ferguson. Let's have a look at the results. M. Deary, sorry, then me. What happened to I. Ferguson? He was on that list. There he is. Popped in now in fourth. Let's have a look at the final results properly. T. Lee takes the win. Stewie in second. OG third. I. Ferguson. M. Deary, then me in sixth. P. Davies seventh, and S. Greaves in eighth. Ninth is Seymour. This is where the C group start coming in. S. West in 10th. E in 11th. A. Hugavine. M. Blundell 13th. This is all really close. Look how close they are to the line. C. Finlayson 14th. O. Hainel 15th. All within seconds of each other. J. Robinson in 16th. Have we got any Bs across the line yet? Not yet. L. Merrick 17th. Again, split seconds between everyone here. Brilliant racing. G. Moore, M. Reed, MK. Then the Bs. Chris Jupp 24, 52nd. 57. They were about 8 seconds behind the C group. J. Simpson 22nd. C. Waring, John Bushell, N. Corbin, N. Slevin, and Latix in 27th. Unfortunately, missing the start there. Just popping back to look at the DCAT again, there's a lot of riders here. That pace was really, really fast, but there's a lot of riders that are right on the cusp of the C category, if not with numbers that are C category. So if you feel that they are sustainable numbers in future races, then have a jump up. You've earned your step up into the C cat, and congratulations. But I'm also aware that that was a 23-minute race, and we were really going for it in there as well. So awesome effort, everyone. T. Lee, I think that's your first race with us. 3.4 watts per kilo is actually up at the B category. So maybe next week, jump in with the Bs and try and chase down the Ds as well. The Ds and the Cs. But awesome racing, everyone. I really, really enjoyed that one. And as you can see, that decat worked really, really hard together to race the line. And I'm even more chuffed that I managed to stay in with them.
Oh, another great race. Stayed with the group to the end. Really, really enjoyed it. Making that little bit of progression every week. I really did try to sprint a couple of times at the end. I had to once to just catch the group, but I tried to go again with about 300 metres to go, as you saw, and no, my legs were having none of it, but I don't mind. It's just a little step further from last week, and it just seems to keep progressing, which is awesome. I'm feeling really good. I'm really, really happy again, which is just loving my riding at the moment. But I'm rather hot and horrible, so I'm going to go and have a shower, grab some dinner because I'm starving. I should have eaten before the race, but I had literally nothing I could eat on low carb in the house, and my wife is over at Tesco's now, so yeah, it's my own fault. I wasn't prepared, but I need some food.
So as you know, I've set myself a challenge of beating the number of hours I spent on the bike last year in the same month. So beating January's hours this year. And I thought I'd do a quick roundup of the riding that I've been doing. I've been doing quite a lot in January. The Tour de Zwift's been happening, but a lot of it's been zone 2, really slow, kind of poodling around, really. But I thought I'd just show you what I've done. Some of it I don't have footage on, but I think, well, it'd be good to have a catch up to see how close I was to last year. So following the race from last week, that was not the one we've just watched, but the week before, I did do the T2.5 meetup. Unfortunately, I missed the Saturday ride because of my neck issues. That went away pretty quickly. So I managed to get on the bike and do the Three Sisters end of month special banded ride that we did on that Sunday. 50 kilometers in total. Now I know full well that in fact I rounded that up. The route finished slightly shorter than that. I rounded it up to 50. But I know full well I would never have done that distance on my own and not part of the banding ride. I understand that. But 2 hours, 10 minutes moving time in the end on the bike. Really pleased with that. Again, keeping my heart rate in that zone 2, 124. So I'm aiming between 120 and 130 BPM. So I didn't take it particularly quickly or push myself very hard, but I'm just trying to build up those base miles in my legs, which seems to be working. At the moment, the average power for that was 109 watts, which isn't a lot. I stuck the trainer in 0% difficulty and just kept my legs turning over, keeping myself constantly in that heart rate zone. So yeah, 2 hours on the bike, but pretty low power, only 816 calories burnt in that time with a 33 relative effort, so nothing too crazy. Really enjoyed that though. The one thing about that ride that I was worried about is now I'm doing low carb. I'm not eating breakfast in the morning because I don't need to, and I'm eating at lunchtime. Now this ride was 10 o'clock in the morning, and when I got up, I thought, do I eat for this ride or do I not? And I decided I'd do it without eating, and I got through that ride, no food whatsoever. And in fact, I didn't eat as soon as I got off the bike either. I went and had a shower. Did a couple of other things before I actually felt like I needed to eat. So that's definitely changing. I guess fasting in a way, unintentionally. It's just I haven't felt any cravings or need for food being on low carb. But that was that Sunday's ride. And then I've ticked off another Tour de Zwift ride, stage 7, which was 2 laps of the island outskirts in Mercury. This one took me 1 hour and 15 minutes. Again, staying in slightly higher heart rate for this one. I thought not necessarily intentionally, but it was a slightly higher heart rate, pushing a little bit harder, 129 BPM with average power of 115 watts. This is the one that goes up that. This is where I lose all the time. It's to do 25k, 1 hour and 15 minutes. You get overtaken by everybody, and it's a bit of a mental thing to try and stay doing the slow work that you need to do. But yeah, that little incline over the loopy hill thing is what completely just loses me time every time. But I stayed disciplined. There was a couple of times I felt myself pushing and I thought, no, step it off. But I did that one as well, which was quite an enjoyable ride. And then the Tuesday Trundle on the Mech Island Loop, or Mech Isle Loop in Mercury. This one, I look forward to these rides because I don't have to stay in zone 2, and that might sound a little bit weird to some of the guys that do the Trundle, because it is a a slower ride, but for me, it's above my zone 2. 144 beats per minute average, 161 power average, and we went up that hill 5 times. That little whirly-gig hill that was in there, and I really did push myself. When I say push myself, just to maintain a higher level of watts output consistently as much as I could up those hills. I must admit, a 6th time up probably would have completely put an end to me being able to climb up them. It wasn't an easy ride for me, and it wasn't the best route for a trundle, because it just sort of kept getting a bit split by the hill, and then by the time we caught up with each other, we were ready to start the hill again, because it's a very, very short distance loop, but quite a fun loop. This is the sort of, if I was faster at climbing and I had the weight off, that is the sort of route I'd love to do on a race, because it'd be great fun. But yeah, 5 times up there, did what I could, and stayed in with the group pretty much until the end, and higher averages, higher effort and everything. So in total then, that was 20 hours that I did in January. Last year, I did not 6 hours. I've gone back to December. Last year, I did 18 hours. So I'm ahead of where I was last year. So I'm happy with that. Difference in kilometers, though, because I'm doing a lot more slower work this year. 526 last year in January, and 485. So a lot less distance covered. As much as you can class distance in Zwift, because, you know, if you're in a banded ride, distance goes out the window, and distance on Zwift disappears a lot. You know, you go a lot faster in Zwift than what you might do outside. So kind of take distance with a pinch of salt, really. February target in terms of hours, again, try and beat, is 22. Should be achievable if I keep riding at the same level as I'm doing now, because both January last year and this year, barely any rides in the first week of January. So it should be an achievable target, and something that I'm going to aim for. Ticking off in February, even though the Tour de Zwift comes to an end. I can't remember the Tour of Mercury, is it, that starts at some point? I think that's March though, so I don't know, but really pleased I've hit those hours. I'm really pleased it seems to be making a difference and getting me back to where I want to be on the bike. So another great week on the bike. Again, feeling stronger. I keep saying it, but I am feeling stronger. Feeling like I can put out more consistent effort for longer and recover from it quicker. So that can only be a good thing, right? I'm just happy. I'm excited about getting on the bike. And I think that the idea of going on knowing that it'll only be a zone 2 slow workout, which is not what I've ever done before. I've never gone slow and steady. It's always been as push as much as I can. It kind of gives you that kind of, oh, it's okay to get on because it's not going to be painful. Couple of hours, and I'm being able to now sit on the bike for longer because I'm getting more used to it. So, and I'm jumping on for multiple rides a day. So yeah, it's all good. And it can only hopefully move in a positive direction. Tonight, I'm actually recording this on Sunday, the day this video comes out. Tonight, we actually got a race. The next stage of the Tour, T2.5 World Tour. And it's a quick blast of the bell lap. I think 4 laps of the bell lap. So, again, getting on the bike tonight, but it's going to be a quick one. It'll be a painful one. It's going to be hard. Hopefully, I can stay in with the group again. We'll wait and see. If you want to come along to that race, come along. If you're seeing this in time, a link and everything will be in the description below, along with the other T2.5 rides for next week, the Trundle on Tuesday, our normal race on a Thursday night, and our Saturday banded group ride as well, getting everyone together for just a casual Saturday morning ride. Things are going well. I'm feeling really positive. I want to say a massive thank you again, as usual, to the T2.5 channel members going up the screen now. Your support is amazing. The support of everyone really, really helps. And I had a lot of messages and things in January and back when I was getting back on the bike and not feeling brilliant. And I know I needed to improve and get myself everywhere. So thank you to everyone for your support. And it's, yeah, the effort's started to pay off. I can feel, again, I'm not getting on scales, but I can feel the weight coming off again, definitely. So everything's working, moving in the right direction. I've just got to keep the train along and on those tracks now. And hopefully we'll get to somewhere good by the time June comes and the baby comes along.
and then who knows what's going to happen at that stage. But that is the end of this video. If you have enjoyed it, do hit like and subscribe, and if you want to watch the last T2.5 World Tour race, I'll put the link in the box to the side here as well, and I'll see you on the next one.